In an earlier video, Linda and I showed you us picking up a bike that our friends gave us. It was a Honda Goldwing 1978 GL1000, pretty battered, and we were afraid we were going to have to push it home, but we actually got it running on one cylinder, just good enough to get us back to the house. Since then, I've been promising to show you what we've done to it to try to resuscitate it and get it back on the road. Hope you enjoy the video. Well, I got it home. It's not running very well right now, but tomorrow I'll pull the manifold off with the 4 carburetors and rebuild the carbs, and that'll be a good place to start. Because, you know, when it's had a load of bad gas in it, but I did get it home. It was, you know, it ran all right to get it home, just kind of rough. It's in a lot nicer shape than I thought it was when I first saw it. There's no oil leaks. There's evidently a return spring on the throttle or on the carburetor linkage that's not working, because if you give it any throttle, it would stick wide open. So coming home, I just left it in first gear. I only had 3 blocks to go, so I left it in first gear and brought it home. I figured I always had the kill switch up here just in case. Some known defects, these 2 front brake calipers are frozen. So I'll be pulling the front wheel off and running all new fluid down through those and see if I can't free them up a little bit. I'm happy that it doesn't have spoke wheels, don't have that to worry about. Rear brake worked okay. Shaft drive. It's my first bike with shaft drive. That's nice. But I've got a lot to learn about this bike. But I'll try to keep you posted on, you know, what's going on with the bike and what we're finding on it. I'm told it's got 28,622 miles on it and not 128,000. But it is a 1978 Honda. It's an oldie, but it's in pretty nice condition, I think. It has been laid down once, and that was just fairly recently. They laid it down, they scarred this up here on the fairing. You can see where they damaged the bars down here, side bars. This is bent, and they destroyed the rear saddlebag, but the bike itself didn't suffer any damage at all, so that's good. Well, I was able to determine that only 1 cylinder was running when I brought it home yesterday. It was 1 out of 4. That's not good. So I just tested the coils and the high tension wires that go down to the spark plugs and the ballast resistor and things like that. They're all good. So I still don't know what's bad, unless the coils aren't getting 12 volts. But I'm just, you know, checking one thing at a time. This is a wintertime project, and this is still July. This isn't as bad as it looks. I mean, having it this far apart, it's not that bad. Linda and I did this in about, 20 minutes. Okay, I just reinstalled the coils up here. I still want to check the primary circuit, make sure it's nothing wrong with the primary circuit on the 2 coils. And yeah, they checked out fine, but like I said, I'm still not getting sparks, so I got to figure that out. And also, while I'm in here, I need to adjust these throttle cables, because look at all the play in this throttle, and also the throttle sticks wide open. So evidently this is a push-pull throttle, and evidently the pull part, which I think is this part here, that pulls the throttle closed again, This is either way out of adjustment or the cable's broken. So I got to check that too. But it's a good time to do it with this part off up here, because this is the two cables right here, and I can see everything. Well, here's what I've been up to today. Look at a dusty mess this is. I'm going to pressure wash that off here pretty soon. I'm waiting on a lot of parts to come in, throttle cables, filters, and things like that. And today these front calipers, there's two of them on the front because there's twin discs or twin rotors up here, and they were froze up. So I took them apart and got them freed up, and I'm just putting back together. They need to be replaced, and the front brake assembly on the right grip up here, I'm going to replace it too, but one step at a time here, you know, because for example, earlier today I just finally got sparked all 4 cylinders, and the problem is a bad condenser here, and I just ordered a new one. So, and I got new points coming. They're wore out. I couldn't get the proper gap on this one anymore, so yeah, all kinds of fun stuff going on. But little by little, oh, the compression is excellent on all 4 cylinders. Yay, some good news. Yep, that's better. I hate to work on anything that's filthy dirty, so it's got to be clean. Well, when I first saw this bike, I actually didn't even want it because I knew it was going to be a huge problem. I mean, the clutch cable was totally frozen. I got a new cable coming for it today because it's still gritty but and hard to pull. And the brakes were frozen on it. The throttle, if you use the throttle on it, they told me that the throttle would stick wide open. And just all kinds of stuff. And of course it was just covered in dirt and grime and filth and everything. I've taken all the fairings off. I don't know if I'm going to put them back on again. I'm thinking about making this into a naked wing. I've still got the Vetter fairings. For sure the rear luggage is not going back on it. I'll put some decent looking saddlebags on it. I've got a brand new seat cover to put on here. That's already showed up. I have brand new belts on the way. I've already adjusted the valves on it. They were actually pretty close. I had a problem with it only running on 2 cylinders. I spent a lot of time trying to figure that problem out. It's got 2 coils in it. I thought, well, one coil must be bad. But then I determined that it was just these 2 cylinders on the right side. And one coil runs the front 2 cylinders side to side, and the other coil runs the rear 2 cylinders, so that didn't make sense. So I started doing ohm checking and found that the coils were okay. And then I was getting, when I tested the spark plug wires, this right side tested out kind of okay. It was a little high on the reading, like instead of 5,000 ohms, I was getting like 6,500 ohms per lead with the spark plug connectors on. And the other side was reading more normal. Well, it turns out that these spark plug connectors on the right side, under load, they were failing. So I've got new plug connectors coming for it, and in the next couple of days, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what she sounds like on all 4 cylinders. Basically, everything on the bike, something is wrong with. Just about, when you really look at it. For the headlight here, I've got a new headlight retaining ring coming for it. I'm looking forward to getting that. We'll put the headlight back on the bike. It's missing the Honda plaque down here. Don't know why. Somebody must have taken that off as a souvenir when they put the Vetter fairing on the front, the windjammer fairing. It all needs painted. All the housings and everything need to be repainted. And there's the Vetter front fairing itself. It looks like that. I don't think that's going back on. For one thing, you can't get any parts for it. The company went out of business. I mean, Mr. Vetter has retired or passed away, and the wife shut the business down. So it's been laid on its side, and I've got damage here, and this trim is shot, but I can't find any replacement trim for it. I could repair this, but I can't find this trim anywhere. I've been looking. Most parts for the bike itself are available. I'm just waiting. I don't know how many shipments I've got coming in from this supplier or that supplier, but you can get this stuff and it's not outrageously priced. It's still normally priced. I just replaced this battery strap. That was available for $6 or $7. That holds the battery in. I've also replaced the points, 2 new points, and they're timed now. The original condenser was shot, and the old points, they weren't just sparking, they were making little explosions on each one. Quite the little light show, and that turned out to be a bad condenser, so that ought to make it run better. I haven't pulled the manifold yet because the manifold and carbs, I want to rebuild these carbs. That's going to happen real soon here. Various things and the various tools I've been using to do the work have all migrated out here to the table. But they're handier this way. Even the stock taillights, or the wires had come undone inside and needed to be resoldered. I got to find new taillight stems because these fit the Vetter fairing and they don't fit the original place on the taillight where they're supposed to go. I got to try to find new taillight stems, and I don't have any turn signals for the front end yet either, and they fit right here, and I got to find these stems. So far I've been shopping and I haven't found the right ones yet. And you're wondering, why would I take on a project like this? I saw good bones underneath, low mileage, and it does have great compression. But you know what? I'm having a blast working on this. I'll go away to do something else, or Linda and I will go camping for a couple of 3 days or something like that, and I just can't wait to get home and start working on the bike again. Well, for me, it's a lot of fun. Well, I've got a lot more to do on this Goldwing, and if this kind of thing interests you, then watch for those videos in the future here coming up on Gonagain.